Alright, welcome back, guys. We're going to do part 2 here real quick. Got 5 more teams to get through, so let's do it. Left off on my team, so that puts up Mason's team. First QBs, he got Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, Joe Mixon, Nick Chubb are his running backs. He got DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson as his wide receivers. O.J. Howard is his tight end, and he took Chicago's defense way too early. For his bench, he has Jordan Howard, Marvin Jones, Sterling Shepard, Kiki QT, Trey Burton, Robbie Gould. It said that on the spreadsheet. Was that a mistake? Anyway, and he took Daniel Jones. So he has an okay running back group. He has one great receiver, the best receiver in the draft, my number one receiver. He has at least one quarterback on his team, and he has O.J. Howard as a tight end. We already know how I feel about Tampa Bay's pieces. And his running back, the best player, well, maybe not the best player, but his bench is supported. Well, he only has one running back on his bench, and it's Jordan Howard. That's problematic. So, I mean, you just hate to see drafts like this. This is easily Mason's in first place for being made bowl loser after this draft. Really, I don't like the roster construction. You only draft 3 running backs. Joe Mixon is injured. Nick Chubb, or Joe Mixon is injury prone. Nick Chubb is only guaranteed his role for half the season until Kareem Hunt comes back, and then they might be splitting duties. I mean, a lot of running backs are splitting duties, but Kareem Hunt was elite last year when he was in, so don't know how that the share of those carries are going to break out. Matthew Stafford, I mean, I guess he played last season with a messed up shoulder, but he just can't get it done on a consistent basis. Don't start him in road games, Mason. That's what I'm going to say. I got Amari Cooper, how he goes. So I just really don't like this team. I mean, Sterling Shepard might be good. Kiki Cutie could be good. But you drafted a second tight end and a kicker. Oof. I mean, Zeus is mad out here. So yeah, Mason, I'm sorry, dude. Mason gets a D for this draft team. He takes the D hard. It really could be an F if we're being 100% honest. Anyway, good luck to you this season, Mace. Prove me wrong. Next up, we have Jake. He took Drew Brees and Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterbacks, Chris Carson, David Montgomery as his running backs, as wide receivers, Michael Thomas, OBJ, Adam Thielen. He's got Evan Ingram as his tight end. He's got Seattle's defense on his bench. He has Tevin Coleman, Latavius Murray, Darrell Henderson, Jalen Samuels, Golden Tate, Tyrell Williams, and Sam Darnold. So quarterbacks, he has Drew B, Jimmy G, and Sammy D. Breeze kind of had off. He's kind of been fading these last 2 seasons, but it's kind of by design. I don't know if the Saints are just trying to run the ball more to preserve the longevity of Drew Brees. So I think he's still capable. Jimmy Garoppolo had a few good games last year, but really didn't look great. So he might not be living up to the hype that everybody thought he was going to be capable of. So we'll have to see. Sam Darnold looked like he was turning it on towards the end of last season. He was my top rated, I guess. If I had the number 1 pick in the draft last season, Sam Darnold would have been my pick. So, I mean, in the actual NFL draft, not in like any fantasy drafts or anything. I think he has basically the best potential out of the quarterback group last season to be the typical NFL quarterback for years to come. So we'll see how he does this season. Could be a good third quarterback to have. Jake has what could be the best wide receiver group, at least starting out, with OBJ, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen. A lot of the people towards the end of the draft have excellent receivers, whereas the guys at the start of the snake had the good running backs. So, overall, I think he has weak starting running backs with Chris Carson and David Montgomery, excellent starting receivers, a top 3 tight end with Evan Ingram, quarterbacks that could be a good value, but this is the most boring bench in the draft. He's got the wrong Williams, Golden irrelevant Tate, Jalen Samuels, who's probably not even going to get any touches on a regular basis. Darrell Henderson, same issue. Latavius Murray might be good in New Orleans. Tevin Coleman's supposedly the 2-back behind Matt Breida, so yeah, it's pretty mediocre, save for his wide receiver group. So I give Jake a C- on his draft. Next up, we got Jess. She has Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson as her QBs, Devonta Freeman, Mark Ingram as her running backs, Diggs, Landry, Robbie Anderson as her starting wide receivers, Kelsey as tight end, Jacksonville as her D. Then she's got Sony Michel, Rashad Penny, Peyton Barber, Chris Thompson, Emmanuel Sanders, John Brown, and Jamison Crowder on her bench. Easily the best quarterback group with Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. She'll have to rely pretty heavy on them. Devonta Freeman's a good running back to have, considering her starting, with a tight end first. That's a nice snag there. The problem with him is injuries, and he kind of runs like he's a lot bigger than he actually is, so that's why he's prone to injury. And I don't know if he can really change his style. Mark Ingram could be a good value too, carrying the ball for one of the run heaviest offenses in the league in Baltimore right now. He wasn't able to match his production prior to being popped for steroids. I don't really like her wide receiver group. I mean, I like Diggs and I like Landry. Landry struggled last year with Baker. Don't know why. He's more than capable of performing well. Diggs, there was a transition probably around mid-season last year where Minnesota started running the ball a lot more. So his production really dropped then. So that's a question mark. Robbie Anderson could be great with Darnold airing it out a little bit, which they kind of switched to towards the end of last season. However, he has character issues and he really hasn't lived up to his potential at all. He's flashed, he's had some big games, but he hasn't been consistent yet. Kelsey, probably going to be the number 1 tight end. The problem is whenever somebody goes with that tight end in the first round or at the turn in the second, you feel good. You feel like you have a huge roster advantage, but I've seen it so many times. I've been that guy. I've been in those spots and taken the tight end. I used to draft Gronk all the time, and just due to injuries, due to just variance at that position, where if the tight end's not getting those 10 plus touchdowns, it really hampers you and puts you in a bad spot. And you see guys in the end in the playoffs, they usually found that late tight end, and they're bolstered by having a running back or wide receiver that they would have taken, or they would have had to sacrifice if they wanted to get the top tight end. So We'll see if it plays out. Kelsey seems like a sure thing, but I just have seen this strategy not work out so many times to where I'm really hesitant to employ it. I still do, given the same position that Jess was in, I might have made that pick, but it's just an inherent risk taking that early tight end. So we'll see how that plays out. I do like some pieces on her bench here with Sony Michel. Chris Thompson could be good. I really like John Brown. Emmanuel Sanders off that injury, I'm just really hesitant to see how he does with his age and how severe of an injury it was. I have him in a best ball team, but I'm not happy about that pick on my best ball team. So, I assume he might end up on the cutting room floor for Jess. Jeez, shit, it's raining. This is gonna be fun going back. Jamison Crowder could be a good PPR receiver, so I feel like that bolsters an overall, that and her bench, some of her bright spots on her bench with Sony Michel and Chris Thompson and John Brown, paired with her quarterback group, kind of bolsters and boosts her kind of questionable core running back and wide receiver group. So overall, I give Jess a B- on this draft. Except we got Matt. Matt took Cam Newton and Kirk Cousins as his quarterbacks. Got Leonard Fournette, Damian Williams as his running backs. Julio Jones, Juju, and T.Y. as his receivers. Delaney, I need a Walker as his tight end. And Cleveland as his defense. He's got Derrick Henry, James White, Tariq Cohen, Devin Singletary, Larry Fitzgerald, Mike the Wrong Williams, and Nick Foles on his bench. So, I don't really like his quarterback group. A lot of people are touting Cam as a bounce back candidate coming back after his surgery. We'll see. He's in a North Turner-led offense, which I have a piece of. But, I don't know. I feel like Cam has the potential, but due to injuries and more than anything, I see him when they're not in games is he just gets really down, and he kind of shuts down. So, there's like maybe 4, 5, 6 games a year where that's a guarantee. If they're close, he has the chance of going the fuck off in the second half, employing a little bit of that Vince Young strategy, a little rope-a-dope. But, that's not conducive to consistent fantasy output. Kirk Cousins, they're a little more run-heavy in Minnesota now. Although he has good weapons, he grabbed them late, so I just don't know if he'll return the value that Matt is hoping for. Fournette could be a good pick. They have a bolstered offensive line, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. Not really the greatest pass catcher. Not really a modern back. Damian Williams just got his workload cut into with LaShawn McCoy signing on the Chiefs. Juju, Julio, and T.Y. as his receivers. Really, really good. Probably the best start. Definitely, I'm going to say, I would rather have his than Jake's trio. So, I guess it's a toss-up. So, at least one of the best receivers. He didn't add much depth, though, as far as bench receivers go. So he really needs those guys to stay healthy or to add some people on the waiver wire. Tight end, it's probably going to be. He's definitely going to be streaming tight ends. He picked a tight end for, one of the most problematic offenses, and he grabbed another piece of Tennessee's offense with Derrick Henry. So, but I do like his depth here with his running backs on this bench: Derrick Henry, James White, Tariq Cohen, Devin Singletary. There's some real potential there, paired with his kind of wide receiver heavy start with Julio and Juju. So you know, I can see the logic there. I do like that. You know, but he is hindered a little bit by his quarterback group, his tight end group, and kind of just, you know, he went wide receiver heavy and then kind of forgot about it for a bunch of rounds and tried to patch it up with Fitzgerald and Mike Williams. You know, they could be good, but we'll have to see. So overall, I give Matt a B. So I think that's a fair grade. Then we got Anthony at the turn with the 10 pick. He got Mahomes, Mitchell Trubisky, Aaron Jones, Kerryon Johnson, Devontae Adams, Kenny Golladay, Cooper Kupp as his wide receivers, Austin Hooper as his tight end. He's got the Chargers as his defense. He's got Phillip Lindsay, Justin Jackson, T.D. Westbrook, Anthony Miller, DK Metcalf, Vance McDonald, and Dak Prescott backing up the starters. I would say I really don't like his running backs. I know a lot of people are touting Aaron Jones. I just don't think he's capable of doing it. I feel like he's got that, you know, kind of Christine Michael, like we talked about earlier, where a bunch of scouts love the measurables and just think that an increased workload and he'll be this great back. And number one, I don't know if that's 100% true. And number two, I don't think Mike McCarthy likes him very much. So I think he's handicapped in the usage that he'll be employed on. Kerryon Johnson, I really don't like Detroit's offense, so a lot of people are kind of touting him to be good, but I think he has kind of a low ceiling. You know, I think he might be like, you know, his ceiling is probably between 10 and 15 as a running back, which I guess is pretty good for your RB2. But I think it's about the same for Aaron Jones. Maybe Aaron Jones should probably land in the 15 to 20 running back range. And you know, Devontae Adams is a good wide receiver. Don't like Golladay. That Detroit offense really scares me. Cooper Kupp could be great. We'll have to see if he can stay healthy. Austin Hooper is kind of just like a meh tight end. Chargers defense, you know, defenses aren't going to really carry you too far. And kind of a meh bench as well. I mean, Lindsey did good last year, but he kind of faded towards the end. Justin Jackson, he's going to roll. Depends on when Gordon reports. D.D. Westbrook could be the number one in Jacksonville. You know, that could be a good pick, but we'll have to see how their offense looks. It was just not the same after Blake the Goat Bortles left last season. Anthony Miller could be great. I really like him. DK Metcalf, question mark. Vance McDonald could be good as a backup tight end. And Dak, you know, might be starting over Mitch pretty early, but you know, he's got the number one quarterback. So overall, this is an okay team. I give it a B-. So those are the grades. Looking at overall here, I think Zach drafted the best team. Then Sean, but we'll give him an incomplete as his grade. And then myself, third. Then we got, let's see, Danny's team's solid. Fourth, Matt's team, fifth. Then we got, what? I'll probably give Jess sixth, Anthony seventh. Jeff, I'm missing somebody here. Jake. Okay. Anthony seventh, Jake eighth. No. Jeff eighth. No, Jeff seventh, Jake eighth. I'm missing somebody. I don't know. Anyway, Mason's in last, that's for sure. So sorry. I didn't list this out. But yeah, I gotta get back. I gotta dodge some lightning and thunder on my way in, so, you know, thoughts and prayers. If this is my last video ever, at least it'll be good for ratings. But yeah, guys, that's it for this week. Let's get it. It's week 1. So excited. Mason, I'm coming for that ass. You know, hopefully I gave you some bulletin board material. So get you guys next week. Let's get it. See ya.